Hey guys, in this tutorial we're going to be making a lava themed cake. This is a cute Pixar short movie featuring volcanoes. This video is part of a fabulous Valentine's collaboration with these other amazing cake artists. Learn how to work in buttercream with Rosie, carve cake with Talia's cakes, turn your hand to chocolate with Cup and Cake, and model adorable otters with the lovely baker. I will link each of their tutorials in the description box below for you to check out. I chose lava for my project. We have a print of it in the living room just because it's the darn cutest story ever. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it below. You may need tissues. Okay, so let's start with a 6-inch round covered in pale blue sugar paste. If you're new around here, you'll find tutorials on ganaching and covering as separate videos on my channel. No one wants to watch me do it on every video. I also link all the products I use in the description box, so feel free to have a little peek at that. We're covering the board with pale yellow paste. I'm using a method I named the toilet seat method. That also has its own full-length tutorial which I'll pop in the box, just in case you're curious as to why it's named that. Doing it this way just helps to clean up the bottom edge of your cake if it needs it. Okay, so on to the good stuff, our cute volcanoes. I'm adding Tylo powder to a lump of pale brown paste. We just want it to be a bit firmer so it holds its shape, and that's what the Tylo powder is going to help with. You can also use modelling paste if you prefer. Right, we need to sculpt this lump. Start by flattening it slightly so it has a base to sit on and stands up on its own. Then tease the right side a little taller for the female's head. Next, pull at each end, smoothing and tapering it down into a point. Keep pulling until they are long enough to curl in front and slightly overlap. I'm popping some icing sugar down here as it's getting a little sticky. We're going to refer to these tapers as arms to make it easier. Go up and squeeze the tops of the arms into a point. Next, take a Dresden tool and mark in a line where the waterfall will go. You want it slightly more to the right as the male volcano is wider. You just want to slightly separate the top. We're going to pop this on top of the cake and then work on it from there. Just stick it down with a little bit of water. This gap we can see, just smooth it down to sit on top of the cake. Then take your Dresden tool and indent the opening of the volcano to the left. Then squeeze the top lip thinner. As odd as this is going to sound, indent down the side of it to create a shoulder. Yes, that's right, a volcano shoulder. Take your Dresden tool and mark in a smile. Then with the larger end, mark in a large crease line to help the mouth area stand out a little. Then mark in a little cheek on the other side. Now we want the whole mouth area to stand out. To do this, you can put your Dresden tool down inside and very gently push it forward. Don't push too hard that it comes through. We just want the top and bottom lip area to have volume. Next, give him some happy eyes. Time for his lady friend. Start shaping her neck and head to make her taller. Also, hollow out the top of her head and add volume. Pinch the top thinner in the same way and mark in where her face is. Below this will be her neck, so start pinching it in and feel free to trim the centre open a bit so you can get a tool in there or your finger and narrow it down. To help it keep its shape, you can insert a damp kebab stick down inside so her neck doesn't give way to gravity. They are a super happy pair, so don't forget her smiley eyes. Her lips start as a tiny sausage of pale brown stuck on slightly curved. Separate them by cutting along the centre with a scalpel and opening them up a bit. Curve them how you like with the Dresden tool and add teeny dimples at the ends. Whilst the paste is still somewhat soft, mark in all the rocky lines and splits. Just add them randomly. The female volcano actually has a neckline, like she's wearing a little tree jumper. Below this will be green. Add in more lines, softer on the face and then deeper on the body. Mark in splits on the head too. Now whilst these firm up a little, we're going to create the lettering. Here I've typed out my letters in Photoshop. As you can see, you can place them wherever you like to create your own phrase and make some bigger or smaller. Then to make it a little more fancy, you can take a drawing tool and add on some squiggles. Here's my final version I settled on. Then I just hold my greaseproof circle on the screen and trace it on with a pencil. So here's my template, and I've copied the same thing on the back with a non-toxic pencil, which is pretty much all pencils nowadays. To make it easier on yourself, you can hold the template in place with acupuncture needles. All you have to do then is follow your pencil line. Once removed, you can see a faint line to copy. Here in this bowl I have my favourite gold dust. This one is non-edible but non-toxic. If you're new here, I'll just explain why I use this. All edible golds I have tried to date haven't come close to the finish you get with this one. Edibles are often incredibly streaky, and it doesn't taste all that great even though it's edible material. So if you're going to remove the edible one anyway because it tastes naff, then why not use the non-edible version you know is going to look the best? Usually I only use it on easily removable items, but stick around to the end of the video and you'll see how fuss-free this is to remove anyway. Just mix it with lemon extract to paint with and follow your lines with a fine paintbrush. Right, so hopefully the volcanoes are firmed up a bit so we can dampen the bodies with water. Now I've got some lime green Renshaw's paste rolled quite thin. Just stick this to the body, no specific shape or size, it's all going to be trimmed and textured together. Just leave the heads and necklines in brown. Remark in the waterfall line and add in some creases, pushing the paste around to make more organic edges. Don't panic if you can see the brown through the green, it adds to the effect. Every cake toolkit needs one. Just attack the green paste until you get a fluffy-like texture. Re-add your lines in where needed. Now continue around adding green, leaving the very tips of the arms brown. Dampen the centre channel and roll a long, thin string of pale blue paste. Add this to the channel and press it into place with the sharp end of the Dresden tool. The extra part at the bottom can be textured into a water splash. Grab yourself some dark green gel. I'm using Spruce Green by Sugar Flare. Add some to a plate with water and dab your brush until you get a stippling effect. Add this all over the lime green and dab it to blend the green into the brown. Then add more of the deep green where there will be more shadow, such as the bends of the arms. Now do the same thing with dark brown gel for the faces. Don't be afraid to really dab that colour around the eyes and smile. I know, it looks like he's gorged on a ton of chocolate cake, but the deep colour will settle in the imprints and you can brush away the rest in a downwards motion. So our female volcano has hair, first shoulders and now hair. Roll out some black paste into long tapered sausages and add them to the head, trailing down the front. Add on more to either side. For the front piece, roll a short tapered sausage and stick it across the top. Flatten and thin it out like the top lip of the volcano. Don't forget to add in the cracks and the lines too. Add in a larger black piece to cover the remaining head at the back. Lastly, they need lava. Add some orange sausages to plug up the holes and texture it. For some easy, bright fantasy flowers, take some orange paste. Roll a teardrop shape and flatten it with your palm. Make 5 altogether. Then hold your first one and stick a second one on, roughly facing 2 o'clock. Continue round, overlapping the petals. Once you get to the last one, gently take the first petal and pull it in front to continue the pattern. Now you can leave it like this or add some extra lines. Score the centres with the Dresden tool working outwards. Then add smaller lines for some pointy petal detail. Add these to your cake with water. Feel free to push firmly in the centre to secure it, as we will be adding more detail to cover it. Make another one in the colour of your choice. Using yellow paste, roll 3 small balls and add them as a cluster in the middle with water. For a final touch, you can add tiny white balls or pearls around the lettering. And we're done. One of the cutest and underrated Pixar couples. Perfect for a Valentine's Day cake. Okay, so let's cut this open. Firstly, remove any decoration. Mine are still quite soft as I cut it straight away, but they are easier to remove once it's hardened a bit. Now I'm just sliding a knife under to loosen it so I can lift it upwards and remove the kebab stick from underneath. So here I have myself a new ornament. This will harden up over time and I have a spot for it among all my other geeky bits and pieces. Okay, so this lettering, it's non-edible but non-toxic, meaning it wasn't made for consumption, but if you do eat it, you'll be fine. A bit like a kid's crayon. So it's as easy as this to remove it. It's only sitting on the very surface of the paste. Slide your knife down and boom, it's all gone. Job done. Now how painless was that? Then you can continue to serve your cake. Slice it in half and loosen it from its board. Now make another cut about 1 inch wide. This is black cherry flavour. Want to keep it fresh? Push the 2 halves together and wrap it in foil or film. Once you've got your slice, you can eat it. Yep, I totally would eat this portion. Or you can cut it into finger slices to share out with a nice cup of tea. So there we go, a cute couple for the soppiest day of the year. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please consider subscribing to see what other tutorials come up each Tuesday. And don't forget to check out all the other amazing Valentine's creations from the Caker YouTube crew. They'll all be linked below for you. Thanks guys, see you next week.